morning. Welcome to today's Good News Reflection from the Lakes Church here in Wapaka. My name is Jess Gibson, and today I get the privilege of talking at just a teensy bit about 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And this can be a really challenging chapter for Americans. And when you go and read it for yourself, you'll understand what I mean. This chapter is wrought with cultural implications that are long past. Paul is writing this chapter to the Corinthian church. This is shortly after Jesus' death and resurrection. And what was happening in the church was causing division and marring their reputation in the community. And so Paul is writing a correction letter to them and saying, hey, I've heard that this is going on. Y'all need to knock it off. And it's great. It's a great chapter because it really highlights some pretty amazing things. It's very difficult for me to pick just a few verses, but I'm reading here from the Message, jumping in verse 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And again, go read it for yourself. It's a really packed full chapter. But Paul is talking about men and women and their roles and how to behave in the church with decency and modesty and respect for each other. And this idea of gender interdependency and how God created man, so man was created first, but since then every man has come from woman. So this idea that before God, there should be respect and submission, both to each other and to the Lord. And in verse 10, Paul says, don't, by the way, read too much into the differences here between men and women. Neither man nor woman can go it alone or claim priority. And then later on, he goes, I hope you're not going to be argumentative about this. I don't want you standing out as an exception. All God's churches see it this way. And then Paul goes on to talk about the Lord's Supper and how we are to do the Lord's Supper with respect for the symbolism behind that meal. So there's so much in this chapter. I'm going to throw a link to an article that will help you unpack it if you really want to know some of the cultural references happening in this chapter. But the moral of the story here, the main thing Paul's trying to drive at, is that we behave ourselves with respect towards each other as men and women, and also towards each other as brothers and sisters in the body of Christ. So go read it yourself. Check out the article. I'm going to link with it, and comment below and tell me something new that you learned that you never realized from this chapter.